Hello all, today we'll be discussing how to find an outlier in a particular data set. First of all, to begin with guys, outliers are important also for some of the use cases, and it may also not be important for some of the use cases. So let me just take an example. Suppose if I have a use case which is called as credit card fraudulent data set. Now in that particular data set, you'll be having some kind of data which will act like an outlier. Some of the transaction which will be actually fraudulent. Those information are very, very important. In that case, we can consider that that particular outlier is very, very important. But in the case of normal data set where we have, due to some human errors, that particular data has been captured in not in a proper way, so that rare value can also be an outlier, which is not useful for our data set itself. So first of all, before I move this ahead, make sure you watch this video till the end, because I'm also going to show you some practical implementation how to detect an outlier in a data set itself. So first of all, to begin with, what is an outlier? See, outlier is a data point in a data set that is distant from all the observation. That basically means that it does not belong to the observation that is actually present in the data set. It has a distant characteristics in short. So let me just give you an example. Suppose I have some data set over here. Okay, in my x-axis I have some value like weight. In the y-axis I have some value like height. Now, usually what happens is that you'll be seeing a scenario that as the weight increases, your height also increases. Most of the scenarios like that. But in some scenarios, you'll be seeing that even though the weight is somewhere here, our height will be very, very high. So this is just like an outlier, and this is a very rare condition, very rare condition. Specifically, you'll not have those scenarios in a population data set. Okay, so this is just one example. Now, if I take an example of credit card fraudulent data, credit card fraudulent data, in that you'll be seeing that some of the transaction will be very rare. Some of the transaction which is just like an fraudulent data will be very rare, and that is what is the most important outlier data, right? So there are various ways to handle this kind of outliers and this kind of outliers that are rarely present. If I take the example of height and weight. Okay, so there are different ways. In this particular video, we will be specifically seeing that suppose in a data set, due to human error, there are some data that is got captured as an outlier. How do we find that particular outlier? How do we try to fix that? Okay, so initially to begin with, I'm going to import some of the libraries like NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. Sorry, Pandas is not here. NumPy and Matplotlib will be sufficient. Now, what are the criteria to identify an outlier? See, in this particular video, I'm going to show you two different techniques. One is with the help of something called as Z-score. If you know about standard normal distribution, I think Z-score will be very, very easy for you. This again, anyhow, I'll be explaining what is this Z-score. Then the next thing is something called as interquartile range. Okay, so we are going to discuss these two techniques. The first one is basically the interquartile range. The second technique is something like a Z-score. Okay, now what exactly is Z-score? That we need to understand. Always remember, guys, whenever we have some data set, let me just take one feature. And I have some data set like 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, or let me just clear this. Suppose I'll just take a simple example like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And suppose I calculate the mean of this particular data set as 3 and my standard deviation is 1. Suppose I'm just considering it, guys. I'm not calculating it. I'm just considering that mean will be 3 and standard deviation will be 1. Now, if I want to convert this distribution into a standard normal distribution, wherein the first property of standard normal distribution is that mean is equal to 0 and standard deviation is equal to 1. So in order to convert this, we usually apply a Z-score formula, which is something like x minus, this x is basically all my observation I'll be considering, minus mean by standard deviation. Okay, this is how the Z-score is basically calculated. And Z-score basically says that in what standard deviation, whether in the first standard deviation or whether in the second standard deviation, this particular data set actually falls into. And always remember, guys, in a standard normal distribution, right? If I have some kind of standard normal distribution, this center point is basically my mean. This is my first standard deviation. This is my second standard deviation. This is my third standard deviation. And anything away from this, any data that falls after this third standard deviation are basically considered as my outliers. Okay, as my outliers. So suppose I have this particular data set, and suppose if I apply this Z-score formula in this particular data set, if this Z-score formula fall within the standard deviation of 3, okay, within this 3 standard deviation, third standard deviation, that time I will be considering that this particular data set is not an outlier. If any data set falls away from this particular third standard deviation, then I will be considering as an outlier. And that is how we are going to perform the second step. Z-score, what we'll do, suppose I have given a feature like F1 and this is having all the features like this. I will go and see that which all features over here, which all values over here fall within the third standard deviation. Suppose if it does not follow, or if it does not fall within the third standard deviation, then I'm going to consider that particular value as my outlier. Simple, very easy. Okay, so this is how a Z-score works. Now the other technique is something called as interquartile range, that is IQR. In interquartile range, there are some steps involved. What we do is that you should need to know what is percentiles, okay, before understanding interquartile range. Now suppose guys, I have these features, like I have some values like 5, 6, 7, and I have 1, 2. Okay, so in order to find out percentiles, what we do is that we will try to, you know, suppose I have some more numbers like 4, 9, 8 over here and 10. Okay, so if I want to find out the percentiles, what it will do is that first of all, sorting mechanism will happen in this numbers. So it will become sorted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After sorting, right, what we do is that suppose if I consider 1, this 1 is nothing but my 0th percentile. This basically indicates that there are no number, there are 0 number, 0 percentage of number less than 1 that are smaller than 1. Oh, sorry, that are lesser than 1. Okay, there are 0 numbers, and that is true because I don't have any numbers less than 1 over here. Suppose if I consider 2, since I have 10 numbers over here, 2 will basically become my 10 percentile number. That basically means that 10% of the total numbers over here in this particular distribution are less than 2. And the 10% of these numbers are only 1, right? I have only one number which is less than 2, which is nothing but from this total 10 numbers, it is actually 10%. Okay. Now, if I consider 3 over here, this becomes my 20%. That basically indicates that 20% of my number is less than 3. 80% of the number in this distribution is greater than 3. Right? So similarly, 4 will actually be my 30%. That basically indicates that 30% of this distribution in this particular distribution is less than 4. 70% is greater than 4 or greater than equal to 4. Okay, that is how it is indicated. Now in interquartile range, the most numbers that we'll be focusing on will be 25 percentile, 75 percentile. And then we calculate 75 percentile values in this distribution. Suppose if I'm taking this particular distribution as an example, we subtract it with 25 percentile. And that is basically my IQR. That is basically my interquartile range. That is basically that 75 percentile number, whatever I'm get. And if I'm subtracting with 25 percentile number, that is basically my interquartile range. Okay, simple. Now, how to detect an outlier after finding an IQR value, that I'll just discuss in a while. Okay. So this was the two techniques. One is Z-score and one is interquartile range. After this, what I'm going to explain you is that what are the reasons for an outlier to exist in a data set? First of all, variability in the data. The second reason is that there is an experimental measurement error, or it may be some human error. They are not calculated it properly. What are the impacts of having an outlier in a data set? There are various impacts, because the statistical analysis that you will be doing, if there are a lot of outliers that are present, it may affect that particular analysis. Okay, and it may also have some more problems when we are actually trying to calculate the mean and the standard deviation. Always remember, guys, due to the outliers, your mean and standard deviation may change a lot. And that is the reason that these are some of the impacts that may happen if our outlier is present. Various ways of finding the outlier. One way is basically by using scatter plot. The second way is something like box plot. Scatter plot is just like distribution of X and Y. If I just show you X and Y, just remember this. Suppose this is my X axis and Y axis. Suppose I have some of the distribution which is somewhere here. Okay, but there will be some points that will be plotted here. So these are my outliers. And by using a scattered plot, I will be able to see. Okay. Now, similarly, if I come up with box plot is nothing but I'll be having this kind of boxes. You know, this will be my 25 percentile. This will be your 50 percentile. This point will be a 75 percentile. And anything above this over here will be your outliers. You know, outliers. Okay, so this is one example of box plot, but again, I'll explain. I just have calculated IQR. After finding IQR, how do I determine the outlier? First of all, let me just try to show you how to do with that, with the Z score, with the help of a code. Now, suppose imagine that this is my data set over here, has some values like 11, 10, 12, 14, 12, 15, 14, 14, and you observe some of the numbers. I have 102, 107, 108. And by just seeing this particular data set, you may come into a conclusion that 102, 107, and 108 may be an outlier because these values are higher when compared to the other distribution. But how to do it mathematically, that we need to understand how to do with the help of Python, right? Now, detecting outliers using Z-score. First, I'm going to consider Z-score. So remember, Z-score, the formula is x minus mu by standard deviation. So here I've created my outlier as my list, okay? And I'm creating a function which will detect the outlier. And to detect the outlier with the help of Z-score, first of all, I need to find out the Z-score value, okay? So the threshold value, I'm keeping it as 3. That basically means that within third standard deviation, if my data is falling, I'm not going to consider that as an outlier. If it is falling away from third standard deviation, then I'm going to consider it as an outlier. So first I'm going to compute the mean and standard deviation because I need the mean and standard deviation based on this formula. And then I'm going to put a for loop in my data set. For each and every data set, I'm going to subtract, I'm going to apply this particular formula and try to find out the Z-score. If that particular value is, whatever Z-score value is coming over here, once I get this particular Z-score value, if that Z-score value is greater than the threshold value, okay, if the Z-score value is greater than the threshold value, that basically means if it is falling away from the third standard deviation, if you are calculating the Z-score, if it is more than 3, I'm going to append that particular Y value in my outliers. Okay, that is what I'm actually trying to do. Sorry, it should not be Y. I'm going to append my I value in this particular outliers. So this particular I value indicates that it does not fall within the third standard deviation. So I'm adding that in my outliers list. Okay, and similarly, it will go and check for each and every values in this particular data set. Okay, in this particular data set, it will go and check. Now, this was about this particular function, guys. I'm trying to see for each and every values that are present in that particular data set, whether that falls in the outlier or not. If it does not fall in the outlier, I'm going to retrieve that particular record and append it in my outlier list. So here it is. I am applying this particular function. I am giving my data set. And as soon as I see my outlier point, I'm getting 102, 107, and 108. Now you can see perfectly we have got the outlier by just using a simple method of Z-score. If it is falling within the third standard deviation, I'm considering it. If it is not falling, I'm just considering that as an outlier. Okay. Now, the next point, I'm going to go with the interquartile range. Interquartile range is basically my 75 percentile value minus 25 percentile value. First of all, there are some steps in interquartile range. First of all, we arrange the data in increasing order. Okay. Basically in the sorted order. We calculate the first quantile and the third quantile. This is basically my 25 percentile and this will basically be my 75 percentile. Then we find out the difference from the third quantile, that is my 75 percentile and the 25 percentile. And finally, I find out the lower bound. Lower bound value basically means that below what point in that particular data set I'm going to consider that belongs to an outlier. And higher bound or the upper bound basically means that from the third quantile, okay, what value I have to consider in the top that that particular data set does not belong within that particular interquartile range. So I'm going to calculate my lower bound value and the upper bound value. In order to calculate, what I have to do is that whatever first quantile I'm getting, I have to multiply with 1.5. Whatever third quantile I'm getting, I'm going to multiply with 1.5. Simple. This many steps are there. And anything that lies outside of lower and upper bound is basically an outlier. Now, how I'm considering 1.5 and 1.5 over here, that is based on the distribution pattern. Most suitable value that we have actually found out for multiplying that has been proved already is 1.5. Okay, so for that reason we are basically using. So anything that lies outside of lower and upper bound is basically an outlier. So this is the way how you can do the sorted. I don't want to do all this step by step. What I'll do is that I will basically use a function inside the NumPy which is called as np.percentile. And here I'm going to give my data set, and here I'm specifying that I need the 25 percentile value and the 75 percentile value. As soon as I do this, I'll be getting my lower bound over here and my upper bound. And if you see my lower and upper bound, this is basically 12.0 and 15.0. And then I'll try to find out the difference between this. So here it is. I'll find out quantile 3 minus quantile 1. This is basically my 3 value. Okay. But still, I need to find out what is my the lower bound and the higher bound value which I'm considering after my step 4th and 5th. Okay, so for that I have to multiply with 1.5. So I'll go down over here. Here is my IQR underscore value. So what I'm going to find out my lower bound value and the upper bound value. So lower bound value, as usual, I said quantile 1 minus 1.5 multiplied by IQR value. And upper bound, I'm saying that quantile 3 plus 1.5 multiplied by IQR underscore value. When I do this, this is my lower bound, this is my higher bound. So anything, any values, if it is away from this particular lower bound and the upper bound, that is basically considered as an outlier. And this is how you can do a very simple method by using IQR and the Z score, and you can find out an outlier in a data set. In my next video, I'm going to take a very good example of a data set, from a Kaggle competition, and then I'm going to show you how you can find out an outlier and how you can fix that outlier in that particular problem statement. So I hope you like this particular videos, guys. Please do subscribe the channel if you're not already subscribed. Please share with all your friends whoever require this kind of help. And yes, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Keep on learning, never give up. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless you all. Thank you, one and all.